Okay, Jungle Explorer here today, and today I'm going to show you how to mount the custom Ruger scope mounts on the Ruger 1022. These mounts are made specifically for the Ruger 1022. They're see-through mounts, so they, on a 22 caliber, you really want to preserve your see-through ability. Simply because you might be shooting really close with it. Not everything is going to be far away in the distance. Ruger comes pre-tapped with screw holes in it. It's just got some little filler screws in there that you have to take out first. You're only going to need 2 screws to do this job. You're going to need the a small straight screwdriver. I actually custom made this one to fit down through. You have a hole in here, and this has got to go down through here. So you'll need you need a strong screwdriver, but a small one. This one's not big enough. And you'll need a little jeweler screwdriver or a smaller screwdriver to take these little screws out. Once you take these screws out, they're easily lost, and not that you probably would ever need them again, but just in case, I'm going to drop them down here. I like to save everything. You never know. You might one day want to fill them little holes back up, so you got to keep track of these little things, because they will get lost pretty quickly. Little things are hard to hold on to. Okay, so we got those out. The scope mounts themselves here come in 2. You've got your front one and your back one. You know this because the actual screw holes on it are actually narrower and further apart. So you see the 2 screw holes here, narrow and far apart. So this one goes forward, and this one goes backwards, goes to the back. So you have 4 screws that come with the mount to go in these. This is where you're going to use your little bit bigger screwdriver. That'll go, oops, down in here. I'll set that one. I'm going to go ahead and put the screws in, because it's well, I got big fat fingers, so it's hard for me to get these things in there. Alright, so screws are on. Go ahead and line that up. Go ahead and screw those in a little bit there. It's fairly easy to put this thing on. Gonna go ahead, give a good. You want to tighten these things up really good here. That's where you need a little bit stronger screwdriver, because you need to put some good torque on them. Go ahead and put these 2 screws in here. Big hands are good, but sometimes they're not convenient to get in little tight spaces. Then they're just great little mounts here. Easy, go on easy. When you're tightening up real hard like that, you want to make sure to stay good and straight. They're a straight slotted screw. You don't want to get off, strip your threads out, or the head of the screw. So just a good firm, you want to put a good some good torque on there. Alright, so those are mounted, ready for the scope. Now, today I'm just going to be putting on an old scope of mine that I had already. It's actually, I bought this out of the Sportsman's Guide. This is a Bushnell Sports View 4x12. I just got this Ruger 1022. It's the Takedown Edition Marine model, and I haven't bought an actual scope for it. I want to make this a backpack and gun, so I'm actually going to buy a little one of those small compact scopes to put on there so that it can be taken off, put in my backpack. But for right now, I'm just going to put a larger scope on it. I bought a new scope for my deer rifle. I've probably killed 60 deer with this on my 243, so it's an excellent scope. I've had it since 1991. Bought it out of the Sportsman's Guide for 99 bucks. So yeah, it's been a really good scope. Now it's moving down to retirement age. I got a brand new Sportsman Bushnell Legend, just a 16 power. Shoot out a little bit further. The 12 power has been good, but that Legend has some really clear glass on it. I mean, I really like that glass on that Legend. The crosshairs are super fine. Glass is super clear. This Sports View has been a really good one, but compared to the modern glass we're seeing on the scopes nowadays, I mean, these older scopes, they're good, but glass technology has really come a long ways. Now I'm going to loosen these up a little bit. Don't want to put them on too tight. Need to kind of put the other side on too. I'm not tightening these down because I've got to adjust this scope still. Now this scope's going to be a little bit harder to adjust because it doesn't actually have the flat scope caps. You can take them off, and you can't really adjust them. Normally I'd put on a Picatinny mount scope, I would set it on a flat surface, use a level it up, but you can't do that because these scope mounts have to go on first before you put them on the gun. So this scope has to just kind of be eyeballed with these mounts because it can't be pre-mounted level. You know, and I've always had pretty good luck eyeballing my scopes. I mean, if you're comfortable with it, that's all that really matters. If it's comfortable to you and you can hit. I eyeballed it on my 243. Shot 60 deer with that gun over a long period of time. Alright, so now that we've got the scope on there, we've not gotten it tightened up. Now we've got to adjust it for level. Now, I like to hold the gun up like this, get a look through it. Now I'm going to move it back a little bit because you see, you want your eye relief to be right. Need to come back just a little bit more. Let's see, I'll come back all the way here. Oh yeah, that's good eye relief. Now each person is going to have a different eye relief. I'm going to adjust it just a little bit more here. Oh yeah. Back just a smidgen. That's perfect. So now that I've got it adjusted for my eye and the way I hold the gun, I'm going to go ahead and tighten down. I'm not going to tighten too much on one side. I like to kind of tighten a little bit all around. Some people might disagree. I just kind of like putting a tire on a car. You want to kind of balance it out. So you tighten a little here, a little there. on this screw, and I just don't like putting too much pressure in any one screw and warping the scope a little bit. You want to get these pretty tight. You don't want to crank down like Arnold Schwarzenegger on them. You can over tighten these screws, at least on this model, the way they go. They're kind of spring loaded. But you do want to end up with them all being pretty good hand tight. I'll come back and do a little bit more tightening on this. I'm probably putting about 20 foot-pounds of torque on each screw at the end. I mean, of course, it's hard to tell just by hand, by feel, but you know, I could twist this screwdriver in half if I wanted to, but that's not gonna fix anything. All right, so let's give her one more look. Yeah, so that's how you mount the Ruger 1022 custom mounts with scope on there. And then you also have the see-through sights that you can look through and aim down your barrel in case something's like right close and you can't see with your scope. You can just drop right down to your see-through sights here. See right over. That scope comes down a little low, but I can still see them. I can still shoot with my see-through sights. Just beautiful how that is. I really like how Ruger's done that. It's just they're slanted, they're cool looking. They work real well. You can actually turn them around if you want more space. Like this one could be flipped backwards, and it would end up about here, and it'd give me a little more space. I kind of like the look of it like this. And so I'm going to actually put some ammunition to sight this thing in here, and I think we'll see how that goes. Okay, well, I've sighted her in. Took me a little bit. The scope was like way off to one side for this mount system. It took quite a few rounds to get her sighted in and adjusted right, but I think I've got her on. The one thing about this Marine, this edition here, like all Ruger 22s, the trigger is really rough from the factory, so it's real hard to be real accurate right out of the box with it, just simply because of how rough the actual trigger is on them. There are some trigger upgrades, and if you shoot them enough, they'll eventually get better. So I'm going to be shooting at the top right red dot. Get me adjusted here. Going to be shooting at the top right red dot here. And I haven't found, because of the trigger pull, to be very accurate, but that would help if I put a bullet in. Alright, round one. Well, that wind's blowing me a little bit there. Anyways, that's good. You can see hits pretty good. It's stabilized there. I kind of pulled that first one a little bit. That trigger just really hard. First shot to get, but sighted in. That's 25 yards with the CCI AR Tactical. I tried several different types of ammo here, and that was the one that liked the best. So, you know, that's a dime-sized group at 25 yards, 5 rounds there. Like I said, I pulled that first one, so it's sighted in, ready to go, ready to go out and hunt with it. And so there you have it, how to install the scope on there. Okay, well, if you've enjoyed this video and it's been helpful to you, please like, subscribe, and comment. Until next time, Jungle Explorer signing out.